Welcome to the new session of Premade Pro, and today we will start our new chapter from the botany of class 12 botany because some of the students has already commented to start up this chapter. So we will start a new chapter called the Principles of Inheritance and Variations, that is the Mendelian genetics. Okay, so it's a very important chapter because every year question comes from this chapter. Okay, so in the introduction part, we'll get knowledgeable about the some terms of genetics. Okay, so first, so I am writing some terms of genetics. Okay, let me write the chapter name. Chapter is principles of inheritance and variation. Okay, so let me say some terms, explain some terms of this chapter, which will be very much beneficial in the later part of this chapter. Okay, so what is genetics? What is genetics? So what do you mean by the word genetics? Okay, the genetics, the word means study of heredity, heredity and variation. So जेनेटिक्स क्या है? ये हेरिडिटी और वेरिएशन का स्टडी है. उसके बाद जाएंगे दूसरा कोई है, व्हाट इज हेरिडिटी. सो हेरिडिटी क्या है? आई एम राइटिंग विद द सेम कलर. ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ character from parent, transmission of character from parent to offsprings, from parent to offsprings. Offspring means to next generation, okay. So next question, what is inheritance? Or then what is variation? Okay, let clarify variation. So what is variation? So what is variation? Variation, difference shown between by offspring which are absent in parent, Now what's the next? Next we come to inheritance. What is inheritance? What is inheritance? Process by which, inheritance is a process by which transfer from parent to offspring, okay. Now come to the gametes. Gametes can be a sex cell. Gametes are also called as the sex cell. Okay. Gametes oblique sex cell. It is of sperm, contains the DNA, and the egg, it also contains the DNA. Okay, the sperm contains the DNA as well as the egg also contains the DNA. Okay, now who is the father of genetics? Gregor Johann Mendel. He is called the father of genetics. Father father of modern genetics, father of modern genetics, oblique term genetics is Bateson. Bateson. Okay. So till then, till now, what we have studied? We have studied what is genetic, what is heredity, what is inheritance, who is the father of genetics, and who is the father of the modern genetics. Okay. Now we come to gene. We come to gene. So what is gene? Chromosome. Chromosome has DNA. Under it, the segmentation of DNA occurs. That is the smallest part of DNA. That is the smallest part of DNA. From that, from the smallest part of the DNA, what it comes? Which form particular protein. Which form particular protein. After that, forming the particular protein, and that protein controls the particular character, and that protein controls the particular character, and that protein controls the particular character. That protein controls particular character. Okay, so now we come to a picture. Let us go to a picture. Let us draw this first. Okay, now what happens here? Let me term it as A, B, C, D. Okay, now here one gene P, let it a P plant, plant height. Okay, one character, tall, traits. This is dwarf. This is dwarf. Now, one gene, one character, one gene, one character, two trait. Okay. Not whole plant. Note it. It's a part of a DNA that creates a protein, that forms a protein. Not the whole DNA is responsible for making the protein. It's a part. Okay. Whole DNA not form protein. Okay. Now, the term gene. The term gene. The term gene given by Johansson. Johansson. Gene carries character. That is seed shape. It's an example. The seed shape. It can be round. It may be wrinkled. ओके सिर्फ राउंड भी हो सकता है, रिंकल भी हो सकता है, ठीक है। और जीन called as factor by मेंडल इस जीन को फैक्टर नाम से पुकारते थे। ओके, नाउ कम टू एन एलील। देयर इज अ टर्मिनोलॉजी कॉल्ड एलील। व्हाट इज एलील? Allele. So let it be a gene. Be it a gene. Okay. Now it can have two form. What? 12th and 4th. Okay. 12th is it is studying in class 12. And it's another is studying in class 4th. Okay. Now this one is dominant over this one is recessive. क्लास 12 का बच्चा हमेशा क्लास 4 के बच्चे के ऊपर डोमिनेंसी करेगा। ओके, नहीं तो फिर दिस इज एलील, दिस इज आल्सो एलील। सो alternate form of one सेम जीन, वन और सेम जीन का अल्टरनेट फॉर्म को हम एलील कहते हैं। और वन जीन वन कैरेक्टर, वन जीन वन कैरेक्टर। टू ट्रेट टू एलील। Now, what happens? Let this is the gene of class 12, allele of class 12. Okay, and this one is the allele of class 4. Okay. So this is a gene of class 12. This is a gene of class 4. So it is 12th and it is T. Okay. Now it is an allele of class 4. ये छोटा है इसके तरह, so it is recessive. It is 4th. Okay. Now what happens? These are all homologous chromosomes. Homologous means their origin is same. Homologous chromosome. Because this is a pure tall, this is pure dwarf. Okay. Now, here write a note. What is non-identical? Non-identical. that is dissimilar allele present on same locus on homologous chromosome called as heterozygous condition, called heterozygous condition. Okay, T is the tall trait, T tall trait, and T small t is dwarf trait. Dominant allele, recessive allele, dominant allele and recessive allele. P is the tall, that is the dominant allele, and small t is called the recessive allele. Okay. Now, come to the next topic. One gene is 12th, this is 4th. Now this is capital T, that is dominant, this is small t, that is recessive. Okay, now this is T, this is also T. Okay, so 2n equals to TT, that is a homologous. Both forms of one gene is similar. Both forms of one gene is similar or identical. That is a homozygous condition. Okay. Now this is called homozygous tall. Because this offspring will never be dwarf. It have to be tall. Okay. Now, in case of the second case, I gene, this studies in 4th, this also study in 4th. So, it is of recessive. Now, their gene okay, this is class 4th, this is also 4th. Now what happens? This have to be homozygous dwarf. So a conclusion, you can come to a conclusion. So what would be the conclusion? That 2n, if 2n equals to capital T, the trait is to be tall. 2n equals to small t, it is homozygous, and expression dominant allele. Okay. Now 2n equals to small t, it is dwarf, it is homozygous, it is a recessive allele, allele 2n equals to small t capital T. It is tall because dominant always dominance over the recessive. If there is a single trait of dominance and single trait of recessive, the expression shall be of dominant. Okay. Heterozygous it is of dominant allele. Okay. Now I am writing some points. Please remember every points in the examination because question can come from these points only. Okay. NCERT मत पढ़ो इस चैप्टर का, उलट जाओगे. Dominant allele control dominant trait tall T. Recessive allele control recessive trait dwarf. Dominant allele express in homozygous condition, that is T. Dominant allele also express the dominant allele express in homozygous right here only. T is true, F is false. Homozygous condition. False. True false will make the concept clear, more clear, because question comes up haphazardly from this chapter. Dominant allele express in both homozygous and heterozygous condition. True. Now, dominant allele express presence of dominant allele express presence of identical allele, that is 2n equals to tt. True. Dominant allele express only in presence of identical allele 2n equals to tt. False. Okay. Recessive allele only express in non-homozygous condition. It's true. recessive allele only express in homozygous condition. True. Okay. These points have to be remembered because questions comes from these mind mapping or brainstorming areas. It haphazards you at the moment of the examination when the time is given short and you have to just what you can say, you have to just make a decision in few seconds. It will haphazard you, so try to remember the concepts. Okay, now Mendel, now note, note the term allele, the term allele homozygous heterozygous all are given by Bateson. Okay. Mendelism. Now comes to Mendelism. Born on, question comes, once a question came, by 22nd July 1822 in Austria. Work of Mendel. It's a garden. You worked on the garden P. Garden P. On Pisum sativum. Sativum. Okay. Now, years 1856 it came in Neet. 1856 to 1863. 7 years. Neat question. Now, character given given 7. Contrasting pairs. Contrasting trait, contrasting trait, contrasting trait 14, that is 7 pairs. Now, why he made the experiment with the pea plants? Because it is easy to cultivate. Because it is easy to cultivate. Easy to cultivate. Now, annual plant. It is annual plant. Short lifespan. Short lifespan. More seed produced in short lifespan. In short lifespan. Bisexual plant. Bisexual plant. Naturally self-pollinated. Naturally self-pollinated. Cross-pollination. Cross-pollination can also perform. Okay. Now, cross-pollination can also be performed. Okay. Now, the characters. Okay. The traits. Dominant, recessive. Here is the characters. It's a chapter to memorize. Very little to understand. More to understanding chapter is molecular recessive inheritance. Okay. Uh, Plant height. It is tall and it is dwarf. Seed shape. Round. Wrinkled. Seed color. Yellow. Green. Flower color. Flower color is violet and white. Okay. Now the fifth point is pod color. Pod color is green in dominant and it's yellow in recessive. 6. Pod shape. Full. It's constricted. And the 7th, last one, flower position. Flower position. It's axillary in dominant and it's terminal in recessive. So let's stop here because it's the first lecture and I've just given the introduction and some brief idea about the chapter. The next day we will start from the trait expressed in homologous conditions. Okay, the gamete formation I will start in the next day. So till today we conclude up to this. Just go through it, and if you find any problem, you know what, you have to write the comment of the problem and I will try to solve that. Okay, till then, good night, and please subscribe this channel and share it with your friends, and please like and comment and share. Thank you.